have totally 6 days on this subject, and today is the 4th day. So today we are going to discuss more about the talent acquisition bit. Okay, so previously we have discussed about talent management, the strategy, the models. Today it's going to be mainly about talent acquisition. Okay, and the 5th and the 6th day, that is, which is on 6th of June and 7th of June, we will be discussing on talent engagement and talent retention, right? Okay, so this is what we had discussed in the last class. I'm sure that you won't be able to relate, both of you, but still, I mean, if in case you have any specific doubt, we can address that. Okay, Toyota Financial Services India Talent Management strategy. This is what we discussed broadly, the case study itself, almost 1 hour we discussed on this. Then we discussed about the implementation of any strategy, whether it's talent management strategy or any strategy, it requires this following checkpoints. Okay, the first one being proactive, then determine the business needs and goals, identify the roadblocks early and overcome them, get the top management buy-in. The next one is plan and prioritize efforts, get into the job. And of course, before you roll it down at a broader level, at an organization level, you need to pilot the particular initiative, prototype it, fail early, and then from the learnings that you get, you then do a big bang, which means that you roll it out across the organization, right? So this is with respect to any strategy, whether it's a talent management or learning and development, any strategy. Okay. The next one, what we discussed was talent management best practices, talent management process model. 2 types of talent management strategy. One we discussed was inclusive, another was exclusive, and of course the talent strategy framework. Now today we are going to discuss about top talent acquisition predictions, high impact talent management framework, talent management systems, best practices in companies, and of course, this is a major piece today, which is about talent acquisition. Okay, so let's move forward. Now, this is the talent management framework. Now, what do you understand from this? Now, in the last class, those of you who were not there, this is the complete talent management process cycle. If you're able to see this, I'm not sure if you're able to see this. On the top, it talks about the workforce planning, right? So workforce planning, it starts over there, the talent management. Okay, then you have the next one, which is talent acquisition. Then the talent engagement, the talent development, talent deployment, right? Then you have the performance management, and then the reward and recognition and the compensation management system. You might want to rationalize the salary, or you might want to see incentives to be given or not, bonus to be given or not, all of that comes into picture, right? So this is the complete talent management strategy. So Pushpa, you are getting a coaching session from me.
Yeah, I'm getting.
More of a one-on-one now, right? Unless people have joined.
Okay.
Okay, at any point of time that you don't understand, let me know.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah,
so, so this is what we discussed in the last class, okay, the complete talent management process. Okay, now, have you dealt with any of these processes before, Pushpa? Talent acquisition or talent engagement or any?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No. Never.
Never, is it? So how long,
Never.
madam, you have been doing the training sessions?
Since online, I'm just doing since last month. Yeah.
Last month. Okay. Okay. And previously?
Previously, this is the first trial. This is the first try.
Okay. Nice.
Thank you.
Good. No problem. So, so this is what happens in the organization. Okay, I'll get into the basics. So workforce planning. So basically, before we take any employee, we have to decide how many employees we have to take. Okay, and if it's always like we have to take it from outside, or we have certain pool available within the organization itself, who we can identify, who we can promote, and probably align to that particular job position or job requirement. So that is part of the workforce planning. So once the workforce planning is done, we get into the talent acquisition piece of it, wherein we select the people, we assign them to the job, we train them, right? Then comes the training and development. So once the training process is over, with regards to the process training or the product training, right, we then deploy them. We give them certain assignments, we give them certain tasks. Okay, so it can be something which is internal to the organization or something for the client, right? So they start working, they become part of life projects. Okay, and once they start showing results, that's when the goal setting and the performance review that happens in the performance management system. Okay, so a lot of record keeping happens. Managers put the review comments. Manager will put the review comments. So a lot of things happen in the performance management tool system. And then if anybody is found to be exceptionally doing well, or there can be cases wherein people are not performing. Okay, so it can go from a rating of 1 to 5 in some organizations, where 5 being the excellent performer, 1 being not yielding results, underperformer kind. So accordingly, organizations decide what needs to be done, both for the excellent performer as well as underperformer. Okay, so that's when the programs like performance improvement plan or performance development plan, or if people are doing exceptionally well, there is this compensation management system in place wherein they will be getting hikes, awards, rewards for their best contributions, and so on and so forth. They also become eligible for some flagship projects in the company. They will be nominated for that. So a lot of such things will move forward depending on how the performance level is in the organization, how they are contributing to the organization's profit line. Okay, and then once the performance management and the compensation management is the process is completed, again it becomes part of the talent management. It's a continuous cycle. So again, talent development, talent engagement, deployment, performance management. So it's a complete cycle till the person is again leaving. So exit process will be there, who is separating from the organization for whatever reasons. It can be voluntary, it can be involuntary, right? So this is a typical process which happens in the organization, the employee lifecycle management. In other words, we say talent management. Okay. Now this entire process model is governed by a couple of things. One is, you have the organizational governance in place. You have business metrics in place. Like I was giving you an example about performance management. So that again a metrics, how the person has done before and after a particular training process, how a person has done in terms of the behavioral aspects as well, the technical aspects as well as the behavioral aspects. So a lot of this analytics data can be generated at every level, whether it's a talent engagement level or a talent development level or a talent performance management level, or even at a client place if they are working. So how is the performance? What is the client feedback? What is the customer satisfaction rate? What is the internal customer employee satisfaction rate? So all this can be generated by one-on-one discussions, by questions, some kind of forms that we send them, they respond to the forms, or some survey can be done. So there are a lot of ways that we can collect those inputs. Okay, so the entire process which I described, it will be having metrics as a common parameter, that is analytics as a common parameter, as well as the governance also as another common parameter, right? So this is the new talent management framework. Okay, where if you see here, okay, you will have the strategy, the business alignment. This is definitely, because if we are hiring people, if we are training people, it has to align with the business objectives. Okay, so this is like a small carton box. Now in the carton box, you have all the elements which I spoke about: talent acquisition, talent engagement, right? Talent development, performance management, compensation management, rewards recognition. So these are all the elements. Succession management, these are all the elements. But the elements, so in that carton, you will have the hard cover all around, right? So you will have the governance, which is holding the complete, all the elements. Metrics, which is holding all the elements. In fact, the talent infrastructure, that is the systems, the tools, right? All of them, it's holding all these individual elements, which I said. And all of this has to align with the bigger objective, the business objective. Okay, so that's why this is the fourth cover layer. Okay, so these are the 4 pillars, you can say, and these are the elements within these 4 pillars. Okay, so this is the talent management framework. Any question? Okay, if not, I'll move forward. These are some of the systems that we have, you know, in organizations like Infosys, Oracle. They make use of this HRIS system, the talent management system. Okay, so these are the, this can give you MIS report, Management Information Systems data. This can be the Human Resource Information System. So these are certain tools, PeopleSoft, Talent Edge. Others are also mentioned here, like Adrenaline, Success Factors, SAP, SAP HR, ATS. ATS is nothing but the applicant tracking system, right? So Success Factors is a very popular HRIS or talent management system. Also, we have Adrenaline. So these are common examples of the talent management systems and tools. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay, talent programs in TCS. I have given one example of TCS, how TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, they are going about in the talent management programs. Okay, so they have this initial learning program. They have the continuous learning program, LDPs, the leadership developing program, as well as the foreign language, because a lot of their assignments are generally abroad. Okay, so people are deployed for different kinds of projects in different countries. So it becomes necessary for all the employees to know certain languages where they are deployed. So the foreign language initiative workplace learning. Okay, so these are certain programs that they regularly learn or deliver with respect to the TCS. This is an example. Now, Krishan has joined right now. So Krishan,
Yes, madam.
yeah.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So you are from which semester, Krishan?
Madam, third semesters.
Okay, okay. So you can relate to this well, right? Even Pushpa is also able to understand now, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
ma'am. You're right.
Okay, good. So talent
Very.
acquisition process, right? So what is the first step? The first step is sourcing. Before you actually hire anybody, you have to have that, I showed you that workforce planning, right? You have to plan how many people you require. And then you decide on the sourcing. So sourcing and lead generation. Then the next one is recruiting and attracting. Okay, so this is a typical talent acquisition funnel. Okay, and then you have the interviewing and assessing. Okay, checking references before you onboard anybody, give out the offer letter. You have to check the references and then you make the final selection decision. Okay, after you have made the final selection decision, you have them join. Okay, so hiring and onboarding. So this is what is a typical process which I just discussed. Okay, I have just put it in the flow chart. Now let me explain you the flow chart. Okay, so new requirement is defined. Okay, so you have the new requirement being defined. Then you place the job order. Job order is the job description. Okay, it will have a requisition number. You have to get approval from the authorities. You know, it can be the MD, it can be if you are also having a reporting head who is signing up from another country, so you have to get approval from there as well. So it is a long process when it's to do with a global organization, because there is a lot of lag time. You have to have multiple level approvals. But in a local context, whether it's a big organization or a small or a mid-sized organization, if the signing authority is locally available, the time of approval reduces. Okay, so you will have the local people here itself to approve of your job order, and then the talent acquisition team can actually ensure that they are just quickly finding the right people at the right time and the right place. Okay, so they get into the work. So once the job order is received, okay, so now assess the talent pool. Now, as I said, once you have got the requisition sanction approval done, you will want to see whether you want to promote internally some people to occupy that position, okay, or you need to have an external hiring process done. Okay, so you will do an assessment over there. So in the process that you have identified that there is no qualified candidate, that's why it says no and yes. So if there is no qualified candidate internally, you go for external hire. Okay, so external hire means what? You have to start networking, you have to market your requirement. So all of this will come into the picture, okay, because past candidates you might want to refer if they want to come back to the organization, depending on their performance, past performance, okay, not anybody and everybody. Employee referrals, this is a big piece which works in the organization. A lot of organizations benefit through employee referrals, okay, so we will talk about the employee EPV, the employee value creation, the employee value creation that is there within the organization, by virtue of which employees are happy and they are happy to refer who they know, right? So employee referrals. Networking, okay, so you might want to connect to different groups, okay, in order to get your requirement fulfilled, right? Advertising, job fairs, all these job portals, Web 2.3, 2.0. So all this medium you will probably take in order to get the new hires quickly, right? Then you put them into the applicant tracking system. That is the ATS, which I just mentioned, the candidate tracking system. So once this has been put into the system, a lot of these systems work on artificial intelligence. So it helps in reduction of the human time, okay, that is required. So we will see the effect of artificial intelligence in recruiting a little bit ahead of, as we move forward. So AI-driven, artificial intelligence-driven candidate tracking system will help you quickly to sift through the resumes. So when I say sift, S-I-F-T, sift through the resumes, it will save a lot of time. Companies are getting applications of 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 5 lakh, where they have requirement of only say 200, 300. So imagine the entire talent acquisition team is putting so much of time in screening those applications. And sometimes screening will not happen properly as well, because you have to quickly fill up the requirement and you have 2 lakh resumes on your pipeline, right? So artificial intelligence works very good in order to reduce the biases, to do right justice in selecting who should be moving to the first level, right? So all of that. So identify and screen the qualified candidates. Then the next step would be assess skills of best qualified candidates, then interview top qualified candidates and select the most qualified candidates. So like, for example, Google earlier they used to have, Microsoft also, they used to have 5 to 7 rounds of interviews previously. Okay. Likewise, there would be a lot of organizations who will be finishing within 2 rounds. So it varies organization to organization. What is the organization culture, preference, what is their learning from previous interview processes. So revamping, re-engineering the processes every now and then to find the best, to give the best experience, both to the candidates as well as to give a good experience even to the interviewers, right? So candidate experience is very important, plus the interviewers' experience is also very important, right? So experience is very, it's crucial that it is good overall. It is good. Okay. Then you select the most qualified candidate and then negotiate for the salary and make offer to the most qualified candidate, acceptance by the most qualified candidate, and so on, right? So this is how the complete talent acquisition process happens. This is a process flowchart, okay? And then you have the onboarding, right? Any doubt anywhere here? Otherwise, I'll move forward. Okay, if not, I'll move forward. So this is what we discussed, so first you will have the objective set, then you have the planning, that is the strategy, how to go about what to do, right? Carry on the activities next. And of course, as I showed in the previous slide, as I showed in the previous slide, metrics is a very important point. So these are the elements inside, and you have all the 4 pillars, which is the strategy, the business alignment, the metrics, the infrastructure, and the governance. These are the pillars, and within which the complete talent management process moves. Okay, so the metrics is very important also to get the data. This is the 4th stage of the employee recruitment process. Now, if you see here, this particular modify future recruitment decisions, actions, every level it is applicable. Objectives, if something needs to be changed. Strategy, if something needs to be fine-tuned. Activities, if something needs to be amended or modified. And this one, what are the learnings? Okay, so how we can improvise further. So at every level, this future recruitment decisions, actions, modification based on the past results must happen. Okay, so this is taken from Bursin, Jos Bursin by Deloitte. Now this is the talent acquisition maturity model. So if you notice, you might see that some organizations are at this level, this level, first level, or some organizations have matured and they are optimizing effectively the talent acquisition process. Okay, so if you see reactive tactical recruiting, which is something like ad hoc, the talent acquisition professionals are getting the requirement from the hiring managers. Okay, so they are just working as order takers and doers. Okay, there is no metrics as such, there is no infrastructure as such, there is no requisition which is required. So it's very much volatile, very much ad hoc. Okay, the next better level is a standardized process in place. Okay, so maybe the typical example for the first layer could be some startups who are just starting their operations and they are yet to kind of figure out. They have been concentrating more on the product selling, right? Rather than processing completely well the talent acquisition piece of the HR function. Okay, so they're not concentrating much over there. So it's a little bit haywire, right? So it's more of ad hoc. But in an organization which is, have tested the times, okay, they would have rolled down certain processes, they have standardized certain forms, formats, and all of that, and they are in level 2. So standardized operational recruiting, right? So you have the process technology standardized across the organization. The maturity level is going up this way, from level 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so the 3rd level are those organizations who have a very good integrated talent acquisition model. When I say that, it's integrated with all different functions under the talent management. The talent acquisition connected well with the talent development, connected well with the talent performance management system, connected well with the compensation and awards management system, right? So all of that is well connected. So it's very integrated. And there is a strong employment brand, so on and so forth, right? So this is the 3rd level of maturity. And the final 4th level of talent acquisition maturity is when you have optimized the complete process. Okay, so you have a strategic enabler of the business, ability to predict external forces. You are able to understand the market conditions well. The process is very agile. Okay, you have technology. So you have overcome all of these aspects, right? You have technology. Okay, you have new TA products and services. So it's well planned, well designed, followed process, really optimized one, right? So this is the ultimate process model, or you can say the maturity model, which probably organizations who are there in the market for a couple of years, they would have learned, they have matured over the number of years, okay? And probably still maturing, right? More progressive organizations. Now that we are talking about data science, because talent acquisition, a lot of data is required. Okay, so when we're talking about data mining, data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, a lot of these organizations, you will hear that they have implemented AI, chatbot, gamification, robotics, okay, robotics process automation, RPA model, right? So a lot of they fall in this optimized talent acquisition maturity level. Okay, so they are progressive in their way of doing things. Now, what are the predictions? So in this particular slide, if there are no questions, I'll move forward. Are there any questions of the previous slides? Hi, Vidya Shankar.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Okay.
Yes.
You missed the last class. Last class we did
Yeah, correct.
Toyota case study.
Correct. I could not join. Even just now, I completed one of my VC and just joined a bit late. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So, any questions of the previous slides?
No, ma'am. I'm just seeing from the previous slide only I joined. I'm
Okay.
just from there only.
Okay, fine.
Sure, I will ask you, ma'am.
Surely. Okay.
Yeah.
So moving forward, if there are no questions. So this is now about the predictions. Now we are in 2020. Nobody predicted we will have lockdown. Nobody predicted we will have corona. But however, things will definitely become better going forward, right? We live on hope. Okay. So with that, okay, let us quickly discuss about the talent acquisition predictions. Okay. Now, first and foremost, what do the candidates want? Let me ask this. What do the candidates want? And irrespective of lockdown, no lockdown, what do the candidates want? Apart from job, okay, I mean, they want job. They want the best of everything, right? But however, once they have got the job, are there anything else that they are looking at?
Means like they wanted yes, job is something which is needed. At the same time, they should be in a position to get new engagements. Should not be a monotonous type of a thing where they are doing the same repetitive job.
Okay.
After a period of time, like say suppose 1 or 2 years or 3 or 4 years, they get boredom.
Okay.
If there are no any growth prospects to them, or they feel that the new learnings are not happening, or new capability buildings are not happening, and this is where I feel most of the employees are getting dejected.
Okay, so continuous innovation. There is a
Yes.
link, missing
Yes.
link, right?
Yes.
Of continuous
Yes.
innovation. Okay, anything else that they are looking at?
Obviously, then growth
Okay.
growth prospects, career.
Okay. What about others? Krishan, Pushpa? What do the candidates look for? Apart from the ones which Vidya Shankar also mentioned.
Skill, madam.
Sorry?
Skill.
Skill. Okay, growing themselves. Okay, yeah, skill, of course. What else? Are they not looking for some kind of flexible work schedule, to balance the work and at home and as well as work at
Means you mean to
office?
say, ma'am, work-life balance?
Work-life balance, they're also looking for that, right? I mean, if you do
Yeah.
a lot of survey, employee
Many times
engagement, employee satisfaction survey, they will be looking for work-life balance. They will be looking for improved experience in terms of skill development, in terms of job enrichment, in terms of having some flexibility, work from home? Is it there? Some candidates will be asking also, is it there, work from home, flexibility? Right? Sometimes people will be also asking, do the company work on the latest technology? Right?
Correct, madam. Yes, these are all the
Yeah.
points of discussion. Correct. That keeps
Points of
happening.
discussion.
True.
Yeah, because
Yes.
I will give one example. There used to be people who used to ask, madam, we are working on the latest robotics. Why will I join the organization if I don't have any projects on robotics? Right. So these are the expectations. Okay, so people have expectations. So candidates, Pushpa, you would want to mute or you want to say something?
No. By mistake, I have.
Okay. Okay. So candidates are searching for better quality of life and better quality of work. Okay, from the discussion what we had now, better quality of life and better quality of work. They are looking for this. Okay. So now, given that during this lockdown situation, okay, or previously or after, we will have a lot of candidates for one particular skill. So what the employers will be prioritizing? What will they want to know? What would they want to see? How will they screen? How will they shortlist?
Is it like the candidate is having any facilities like work from home facilities like office or all those basic things are there in place? Is it that you mean, madam?
How employer will select if there are 10 people for one job?
Okay. Means like the person who is ready to adapt the things,
Okay.
right?
What else?
As a platform now.
Okay. So
The person should be
adaptability.
in a
Adaptability is one competency.
adaptability and
One competency.
Again usage of how strong he is in technique. He is having the technical expertise.
So the skill and the functional experience and the competency.
Correct, madam.
Okay, great.
Resolving any type of problem like a brainstorming sessions. So solve the any old new problems.
Problem solving. Problem solving
Yes,
as a competency.
yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Problem
fantastic.
solving, maintenance,
Yes,
operation skill.
right. So how do they get to know this? How do they get to know this? Suppose you are a talent acquisition professional. How will you find out about his problem solving skills? How will you find out about his adaptability? How will you gauge that?
Means like various methods are there, madam. Like like case studies we can give.
Okay.
We'll get to know that how well he is able to understand the case and then understand the problem and solve it. Give a solution for a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We will be able to judge. I mean, you may not be able to judge 100%. Yes.
In initial time,
Person, how well he is strong in terms of the he is very strong in analysis, right? And
Okay.
like other thing which you what is that one more thing which you asked, madam?
Adaptability.
Adaptability, yeah. Correct. See, like it can be like a group exercises you can do. It can be like an assessment centers which we can create, like a simulations.
Absolutely. Okay. Krishan,
in,
you have anything else to add?
yes, madam. In additions, in a Mahindra and Mahindra, I am working in Mahindra and also Tata Motors Jamshedpur.
Okay.
So both are the plant given to employees, selected employee training out of the cross function department and provide a 7QC tools training and 6 Sigma. Then initial how many types of problem collected with different DGM and given to others team and like a brainstorming session and input given and resolving the problem. So that's selected of the that problem and that answers and implemented of the implemented of the resolving tools.
Okay. So you will create a simulation.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And also, yes, a lot of companies like, they're going for simulation, gamification, case study method of, problem solving approach or decision making approach, right? So these are typical competencies. Okay, now with regards to suppose if you have to hire everybody online on a virtual platform, how will you go about it? Now, this last 2 months, this is a typical challenge for a lot of organizations, right? I mean, even though hiring has been frozen in some organizations, but still some critical positions have to be filled. Critical positions have to be filled, right? So how are they going about in understanding the adaptability aspects, understanding the decision making? Because assessment center, uh, unless you have a online questionnaire run, okay, you won't be able to do the assessment center in a virtual platform unless you have a gamification in place.
True. Correct, madam.
Right. So these are the different predictions and solutions companies are thinking, how to overcome these shortcomings, because we never thought that everything will be online all of a sudden, right? When the entire world is moved online, there are certain aspects we can deliver online, but these are certain things people did not explore before, right? The assessment centers, how to run it. Gamification can be done online. Yes. We can have a lot of this questionnaire sent online. And there is proctoring method, which will help us to know that, there is nothing happening at the back end, right? So a lot of these methods are getting adopted, okay, given this situation.
And in fact, that's what, madam,
Yeah.
just to add one
Please,
point,
yeah,
sorry if I have disturbed your flow.
No problem, tell me.
In fact, we just had a meeting about a couple of days back on in the last 60 days of lockdown, what are all the developments that we have done in our organization. So we were just thinking on the same thing, like how can we make the assessment center online? We actually did a pilot project yesterday.
Okay.
With a very minimal scale of just 5 people.
Okay.
Just to have a feel how it happens exactly.
Absolutely. It's about the experience.
Yeah, that's what, madam. With the 5 people, when we did this virtual platform, we could able to find that with 5, since the number of people were less, we could able to do it, and we were more number of people. Like we were almost 6 people at different places, and everybody were managing on one thing.
Okay.
So it was a little easier with a small set of audience, but I mean, given a chance that the number of people are more, may not be this 5 or 6 people, because we have only 5 or 6 people. If 50 people are also going to attend, then now our side it is only 5 people.
Absolutely. So the challenges
will multiply. Yeah.
Problems will multiply. Yeah, absolutely.
So, and then we are now currently working on now taking it forward. What are all the pros and cons? How can we further make it easier and user friendly to the people so that they should get a real feel when they are attending?
Absolutely, you're right.
Yeah,
so and also it requires a lot of investment on investment is one, and secondly the server. So wherever you are actually launching that particular assessment or gamification, okay, it has to go across 50 people, 60 people, or 100 people at one time, one go, right?
Correct. Sure.
So the distribution you have to work, how smoothly or seamlessly it has to happen.
Right, ma'am.
Yeah, so a lot of aspects will come into picture, but however, how will you decide on, okay, internally, if it has been designed, that's something different. But if you have outsourced it to somebody else, a vendor, now then you would want to choose a vendor who does bulk hiring, who has experience in rolling out gamification for bulk hiring. At one time, all across India, okay, you are opening the requirement for all across India, not just limited to Bangalore. Yeah. So all across India, how it can be rolled out at one go for half an hour assessment or gamification. Okay, so a lot of those precursors will come into picture into decision making and selection of the vendors.
Right, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So now the gig economy. Are you feeling the need of gig economy now? Gig workers now. What is gig worker? Any idea who are gig workers?
That has been the talk now, gig economy. Yeah.
Gig economy and gig workers, right?
Yeah, correct.
If you see in the last couple of days, why last couple of days? I think the 1 month or more than 1 month, the trend is like people have, there are a lot of people who are in the market.
Correct.
There are a lot of people who are in the market, a lot of companies have downsized.
Correct.
Heavily, more than 50%, or maybe they have come down to 0 number. Okay, so a lot of people are available in the market now. You will see there are a lot of contractual roles which will open up.
Yeah, freelancers.
I
Yeah.
was just, yes. So gig
Yes.
workers are freelancers. They are
Correct.
the contractual workers. They're the temporary workers. They will still keep on adding value.
Correct.
Okay. So this will open up heavily when people start working like this, working from home. Yesterday, I was seeing the news wherein, one of the state governments mentioned that all migrant workers will get job. All migrant workers, there are so many migrant workers, lakhs, right? All migrant workers will get job. What does it mean? They will become part of the gig workers.
Gig workers, correct.
Right? So permanent job role will get minimized and more will shoot up is what? Contractual workers, online platform workers, temporary workers, contractors, contract on, on-call workers, right? So all of these kinds of gig workers will find their opportunities in the market more than permanent job opportunities going forward. This is situation. Okay, so these are some of the predictions. Okay. So now moving forward, any questions so far?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Now this is a company. I mean, many of you might be thinking of how to automate some of the processes, how to digitize some of the processes, because that is the talk of the town. Digitization, automation is the talk of the town, right? So this is a company, Zinnov. Zinnov is into research. They are into consulting and they are into advisory. Okay, so they are working as partners with all sized companies all across topography, geography, into product engineering, into digital transformation. Okay, so there may be other players as well, but this is something which is a recommended one which I got from the industry as well. Okay, so how they have integrated technology. Okay, how they have integrated technology in each of these elements. If you see talent acquisition, AR, VR, augmented reality, virtual reality enabled talent branding. Okay, so when we're talking about the funnel, recruitment marketing, when we're talking about employer branding, okay, so AR, VR enabled talent branding, gamified talent engagement. Everything is gamification. Machine learning assisted target group identification. So technology is in a big way in talent attraction. Talent attraction is just one piece of talent acquisition. Okay, so talent attraction. Now with regards to the reporting, you see RFID, radio frequency ID. So for time attendance tracking, right? This is an automated process. Automated report generation using augmented data discovery, automated dashboard creation. Okay, so these are certain elements in technology they have adopted, and it's working well. A lot of organizations are progressive and they're adapting to these latest technologies. Well, how about talent management? In talent management, you see Slack, mobile app based pulse feedback survey. So you have completed one event and you want to understand how that event went. What is the pulse? So you can immediately do a pulse survey. So it's a mobile app. So it will be available and accessible to anybody, everybody, everywhere. Reimbursements through conversational user interface. Okay. So this is also automated, digitized. Automated payroll and benefits, gamified alumni engagement, meeting room booking through conversational user interface, not a very traditional way of putting it up on the meeting room door, but then, you will have at the same time multiple requests from different floors. And one floor where that meeting room is, they would have seen that the meeting room is blocked from 3 to 4. But the other people in other floors, they don't know. So there would be complaints that we don't know. So all those manual work is getting automated through the conversational user interface. Life becomes simpler for everybody. Again, in the wellness section, virtual mental and physical wellness platforms, IoT, even Internet of Things. enabled vital body parameters measurement, sensors-based posture tracking, analytics-driven personalized wellness assistance. So this is how technology is revolutionizing the wellness platform as well. Now, if you see the sourcing and the recruitment, okay, this is the bit of under talent acquisition, talent attraction, then sourcing and recruitment. This is the next step, right? Here you see personalized recruitment, social recruitment. Then you have AR, VR enabled talent acquisition, gamified, automated, RPA. I was just mentioning about the robotics. Robotics come in the verification process, background verification process. So it will not have any biases. It will also be neutral. You know, neutral is something important. Talent acquisition people, they will be on continuous pressure to fill in the positions. So there won't be any kind of biases. Yeah. So right people will come in the right job, in the right company. So RPA enabled background verification checks. How learning and development is using technology, AR, VR, MOOCs, gamification, crowdsourcing content creation, data-driven measurement for training ROI. And of course, the people analytics bit, design thinking, data analysis, sentiment analysis as well. How is the sentiment of the people? That also gets recorded, right? Sentiment analysis, real-time employment productivity mapping, smart batch. So this is how companies are actually thinking about digitalization or automation to save on the cost, to save on the time, to save on the effort. Three important things, right? Time, effort, cost, that is the money bit, the investment, right? So these are the very important parameters. And of course, quality. Quality will be ensured, guaranteed. Okay. So let me take you through this particular video to understand more about the gig economy.
Most people have those businesses.
Okay, just give me a moment. I'm sharing the screen.
Contractors. They set their own hours, choose their clients, and usually work on a per-project basis rather than a monthly salary. In, let's say, the US, over 1 out of 3 people are involved in the gig economy at this point, and there are many pros, such as 1. Extreme freedom, with you deciding what you do, who you work for, and how much you charge. 2. Diversification, since your livelihood doesn't depend on just one company. 3. Having access to a worldwide market, and for many countries, this can mean you can earn a lot more than the local average wage. There are, however, cons, such as 1. Less social safety nets, since you'll be responsible for figuring things out such as insurance, retirement options, and so on, although more and more solutions for the gig economy are emerging. 2. More responsibility, because sure, you can take a day off if you don't feel like working, but you won't make any money. Forget about options such as paid leave. 3. Fierce competition, as in globalization on steroids, so it's on you to continuously improve your skills, and if you live in a very rich country, it can be difficult to earn more than with a traditional local job.
Right? So this was an example of gig economy. Now let me share the screen, 1 minute. Are you able to see the screen? Yes, no?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay,
We are able
all
to
right.
see.
Okay, so these are a couple of examples I have for you on how companies are using artificial intelligence in recruitment. Okay, so a lot of good case studies, Unilever, L'Oreal. So these are all 5-minute videos, short videos, which I will take you through. Otherwise, the last ones, which is this and this, L'Oreal as well as the last bit, it is 15 minutes video. I would recommend you to see it at your spare time. Okay, so let me run this first 3 videos mainly.
Yeah.
How Unilever uses artificial intelligence in their recruitment process. Unilever is one of the world's largest consumer goods companies with over 400 brands. They employ 170,000 people across lots of different countries, and they recruit around 30,000 people a year. They actually get 1.8 million applications for jobs. So this is a massive operation going through all of them, coordinating this, interviewing people across all the locations. So what Unilever wanted to do is to use AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning to streamline this process and make it better and more cost effective, but better for them and for the people applying to their jobs. So they tried this for their Future Leaders program, and for this they recruit about 800 people and get around 250,000 applications. So this is again a big job going through this. They partnered with 2 companies, Pymetrics and HireVue, to make this a better process. So the first thing they designed was a number of online games. So when someone applies to their job, you would play those games on your own mobile, on your computer from home, and this would assess things like your aptitude, your logical thinking, your reasoning, but also your appetite for risk, for example. And there would be games like the ones you might have seen before, where you have to blow up a balloon and you almost like playing blackjack, where you say, okay, I increase this, I hold, I stick, I twist. And then some people might blow this up really lot where you think, oh, this is almost bursting. And this gives them a really good idea about your risk appetite. So machine learning algorithms will then measure various aspects of candidates. This then leads to a second stage where you would do an online interview, but instead of being interviewed by a person, you are being interviewed by a machine learning algorithm. So again, you go through a set of questions, you answer those questions, again in your own time, recording yourself on a cell phone or on your laptop. And again, instead of a human recruiter analyzing and assessing this interview, machine learning algorithms will do this. So they use a combination of natural language processing, where they understand what you're saying, as well as machine vision, where they look at body language. And all of this give them an understanding of the sense of purpose, for example, your business acumen, and other aspects. And those processes narrow the applicants down from 250,000 to just 3,500. And those 3,500 then get invited to assessment centers. This is where they, for the first time, get in contact with real people, real recruiters, who then make a choice and pick the 800 that will ultimately be recruited for their leadership program. This is a fascinating process, and sometimes we think this is, I don't want to speak to machines, I don't trust this, they might be biased. Actually, what Unilever believes is this is taking out a lot of potential biases, because these games are completely unbiased. The video interviews are completely unbiased. And The other thing is that it will give every individual applicant some feedback. So we'll then assess, these are the things that you've done well, these are the things that didn't come across in your interview, and therefore these are the reasons that you were not selected. So Unilever believes that this is actually making it a much better experience for all the people that apply to their jobs, and they can learn from this and hopefully improve and then become successful in future applications. From a business perspective, what this has helped them to do is to cut about 70,000 hours of interviewing time and applications processing. So a huge cost saving. And for me, a fascinating case study of really using leading edge AI and machine learning to not only deliver better business results, but make the whole process better for everyone. This is
Okay, so this was, you saw the number of hours it takes at the screening level, at the interview level, 70,000 hours reduced, right?
Yeah.
And no biases. So cost cutting, cost saving, right? At an optimal level.
True.
Okay, yeah. Any doubt?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, so the next one, it's about the chatbot. How effectively it can, at a pre-screening level, it can help. You in fact are getting cues of the companies also who are into this integration, right? HireView is one, Zor is another. So you can explore more.
Adding automation and predictive analytics to your hiring process has never been easier. By implementing our digital recruiting assistant, recruiters all over the world are using Zor to hire faster, increase candidate happiness, and communicate across regions and time zones. Zor can answer candidate questions, guide applicants through your hiring process, schedule interviews with candidates and hiring managers, and Zor handles these tasks 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, freeing your talent acquisition team to focus on strategic recruitment. But what if candidates don't want to talk to a chatbot? Our research and 99% candidate happiness rating begs to differ. In fact, since Zor is available in over 100 languages and integrates with every applicant tracking system and digital calendar, your candidates will save as much time and frustration as your recruiters. The process is simple. First, our expert AI recruitment team will work with you to set up your Zor digital recruitment chatbot on your career site, hooking Zor into your applicant tracking system and calendaring software. Zor chats with candidates, answering questions about specific positions, guiding them through the application process, asking questions to determine eligibility, scheduling convenient interview times, even suggesting other positions the candidate might be suited for. No matter the time, day, or night, Zor is there for job seekers visiting your website, optimizing every penny you spend on recruitment advertising to your jobs. Your recruiters can view answers on the back end, build profiles for hiring managers, even automate assessments to move the hiring process forward. As Zor helps, it learns, offering up who will likely be successful in a particular position. This means you can reduce recruitment admin spend, interview more candidates in less time, build your candidate experience, and start moving from reactive recruitment to strategic hiring. From collecting candidate feedback to giving consistent updates to everyone involved in your hiring process, Zor is the ultimate recruitment assistant. Learn more about how you...
Okay, so this is one, you see the effectiveness of chatbot. Keeping the engagement level high even before people have started applying, right? So that's really nice. The next one.
It is all now becoming employee friendly as well as candidate friendly.
Absolutely, it's all about the experience.
Correct.
Candidate experience even before they are aware about the
Joining the
opening in your organization.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's like building the pipeline much before. Okay, so this is another one. So Goldman Sachs, Unilever, and many other companies are actually using this as well.
You can transform your videos from looking like an 80s home video to a modern day.
I'm Rich Filoni, Senior Strategy Reporter at Business Insider.
This is capturing the image, the expressions on the face, right? AI helps in this as well.
I first heard about HireVue when I wrote about Unilever's experiment in hiring. Unilever is one of many large companies that is incorporating artificial intelligence into their recruitment efforts. HireVue uses video analysis to screen employees and rate them before a recruiter even gets to look at their interviews.
I'm Lauren Larson. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at HireVue. HireVue has a platform that simplifies the job interviewing process. The most common use of that is what we call an on-demand interview, where you create a set of questions, they respond on video, and then we use artificial intelligence algorithms to evaluate their performance. And then we analyze the interview and predict their performance based on the interview.
So HireVue set up an application for me where it was 11 interview questions. I used my iPhone. The entire time I felt very awkward and very self-conscious because I was looking at a video of myself.
And then we made an analysis of the features that are important for that job and produced what we call an insight score, which is essentially his ranking compared to all of the other candidates that we've seen. Well, fortunately, Rich did really well in this interview.
Basically, what this is just doing is looking for things like eye contact, enthusiasm. If this is someone who's going to be working with clients face-to-face, do they smile or are they downcast? Are they looking away from the camera? So some of my skepticism was averted when I actually saw how the product worked.
The machine is going to look at 25,000 different features and complex relationships between those that might see things that I'm not able to see as a human.
AI in recruiting at this point is still basically in its infancy. I think what HireVue is doing is interesting. They're going into uncharted territory. It seems that a lot of large companies are happy with the results.
Of the candidates that we screened for this, he was second. He had a 65% insight score. So we actually want to make him an offer.
Okay, so 25,000 different patterns. It's phenomenal.
I think he's more of a body language, you know, the way they respond, eye-to-eye contact, and whatever he was sharing, it was basically the physical appearances. Correct.
Yeah, I mean, so much of algorithm coding has to be fed in to just, ensure some accuracy, right? I mean, otherwise everything will go haywire. I mean, if accuracy is not there, you are replacing certain steps or processes which human used to do at some point of time, and you're automating it through this artificial intelligence, facial analysis recognition, facial recognition, the expression recognition, so all of that, expression analysis. Okay, so we have two other videos. Probably you can see it at a later time, right? At your spare time. Okay, let's move forward. So these are the top applications of AI in chatbot, providing professional job posts as well. You know, so there are certain times we just, for the sake of publishing some ad, we will just publish. But AI will take care of the complete phrasing, the complete write-up. How is it? Is it really exceptional to go out of the market and give an appeal to the certain categories of candidates? Suppose you are, you want to attract some passive candidates. You want to attract some very senior level candidates, okay? Just a mere job description does not help sometimes. So how do you fine tune and make a very professional job post? AI helps in that as well, in bringing in more appeal to certain types of candidates, in phrasing, rephrasing, grammar check, a lot of that. Assessment integrity as well, you know, so proctoring, behavioral, functional, so there is no bias. So there is a integrity maintained. Then predictive analytics, right? So it also helps in that. And profile matching, of course. We have seen that it saves 70,000 hours of screening at an average, That was just one example, right? So that's the phenomenal use of AI. Now, this is the funnel that we are aware of. the attraction piece, which is the attraction piece, which is part of the marketing. So you are bringing in more awareness to the outside world, okay, about an opening which is there in the organization. Then there are certain considerations, okay. So it might be Bangalore, or it might be they might have to work in a remote location, or there might be certain communication skills or language proficiency that is required. There might be certain particular mandatory skills which are required to do a particular job, suppose at a shop floor level. So these are certain different kinds of considerations you might want to put in the job description, right, to attract the right talents, to go to the target audience. Then the interest, you have to gradually grow the interest of the people, okay. And then you start receiving the applications, you start screening them, filtering them, selecting a selection process, go on to the process of interviews. And of course, the next level is the hiring level, right, where you are giving the offer letters, and again, keeping them really warm in the process so that they join. Otherwise, you will have a lot of dropouts, right? So this is a complete talent acquisition funnel, okay? 3 important pieces are attraction, for which you have to do marketing a lot, and then the recruitment. So these are certain examples of how you can generate that attraction as well as the marketing piece, okay. So where all you can give this requirement, you can post in the job ads, you can have social media hiring, you can post in the social media channels, which can be LinkedIn. You can also hire through LinkedIn and Facebook, Instagram as well. Nowadays, you understand a person's pattern, okay, from the social media channels, and companies are hiring big time through social media process, okay. And then of course you have the LinkedIn Recruiter, you have other job portals like Indeed, Times Jobs, you have Naukri, and so many, right? Glassdoor.
Myself Vidya Shankar, ma'am.
Yes,
is it that from Facebook also people do hire, ma'am?
Yes, they see. I'll tell you, I mean, we used to do it even 10 years back also. That was not, that was kind of more about understanding the person's behavior on the social media.
Okay.
Yeah. So you would have headhunted people, okay, and you just need to understand before you confirm. When I say confirm means before you kind of finally decide. Okay, it can be a process of reference check as well.
Okay, like a verification, ma'am. Final verification before we select.
You're not able to see my screen, is it?
Yeah. Screen is not visible.
Yes, madam. Only Zoom screen is shown.
Oh, okay. Now?
Yeah, it's visible, ma'am.
Yeah.
Now it's visible.
All right. Yeah, so Facebook is big time. We used to use even 10 years back also to see a person's pattern, how is the engagement level up with the outside world, not getting into the personal nitty-gritties of it, but yeah, overall, getting some understanding about the person. This generally happens not at a very vanilla skill level. This generally happens when you are critically filling some positions, certain sensitive positions. Okay, so the habits, so the social media, how engagement patterns, so all of that will give an idea to the recruiter or final hiring manager as to, okay, I'm getting the right person on board. Apart from technical proficiency or the competencies, I'm also getting the right person on board. Yeah. So Facebook also is a very.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Even Instagram also. Yeah. It's like, the artificial intelligence sees the consumer behavior on this e-commerce portal, right? The same way, Facebook or Instagram and all that just wants to understand the behavior pattern. Okay. Indeed, video, social media, events, press release, or webinars, publications. So these are the different sources. These are the different sources how you can attract talent. Okay. These are some examples about the best recruiting strategies. We already mentioned about having an employer branding in place, right? We mentioned about the employee referral programs. Data to manage the hiring. Yes, data science. That's what I have been saying. Data science, data driven. Make it very data driven, not ad hoc. We spoke about the maturity model. So somewhere from 1 to 2 we have to move, from 2 to 3 we have to move, from 3 to 4 we have to move. Okay. Effective job advertisements. Yes, we also mentioned about how AI can make professional job descriptions, okay, for postings. So otherwise, if AI is not there, we might have to revisit the job descriptions before we finally post. Social media recruitment strategy. Yes, so whether we want to go for LinkedIn, yeah, we want to see Facebook, Instagram as references. We want to publish ads in WhatsApp. So there are a lot of times you will have professional WhatsApp groups where you want to just post at and you might get some responses from there. Okay, so social media recruitment strategy. Also, you can have a lot of this binaries, right? I mean, on Google, if you just do some binaries, keys are there. Okay, so people who are doing at length social media hiring, they are experts in that. So you will give binary and or operators, you will have some quotes given, suppose like Bangalore, you will give within the quote, or by Boolean or. Again, you will give a particular skill, very specific that you are looking at, quote, quotation gets over. Okay, so there are different syntax that you have to use even on Google, okay, which will pull up resumes specific to what you need. Okay, so these are some of the Boolean commands that you can give even in Naukri, even in Google. You just give on the Google search. Okay, so social media recruiting, right? Then campus recruiting, yes, if you have a lot of freshers requirement, go for on-campus, off-campus drives. Okay, online hackathons. A lot of organizations keep doing the hackathons, right? So online hackathons, you can have meetups. Meetup is a group. Okay, you can register to meetup group, and you can have technology meetups, you can have recruitment related meetups, you can have, there are a lot of categories of meetups there. You know, anybody who wants to just learn how to, you know, anything, you know, cooking, anything, you will get a lot of such groups which are there. Okay,
Ma'am, this online hackathons is, can you just explain, ma'am?
Yes, online hackathon, I'll tell you. So there are organizations who actually will make a poster. How it happens, I'll tell you. There would be some organizations which will run hackathons for many organizations. Okay, so these organizations XYZ, they will organize such events and they will float in the social media. So companies whose talent acquisition heads are there in the social media on WhatsApp group or LinkedIn posts and all, they will then register, okay, on that company's site, right? So then what happens is they are also participating because they need people. Okay, so now this XYZ company will invite candidates separately to participate in the hackathon. So the invitees are from the employer side. They will be invited during that day when the hackathon is running, while the candidates are given some certain challenges, questions in the form of challenges. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, some challenges will be given, and
Okay.
within entire day they have to solve those challenges. Okay, so there would be groups participating from different organizations, who from the employer side, who will actually, you know, select, who will finally, you know, find out the best fit for their requirement. So the challenge is, if candidates are able to crack that, from that only people will start hiring. So employers will be invited anyways, right? So they will be in different meeting rooms, and then this people, XYZ company, will be facilitating. Okay, and they will then send the respective candidates with their profiles, biodata or CV, to those employers, and if they find through the process of interview good, they will hire them. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, in one of my previous organizations, we had run a hackathon it was a talent acquisition hackathon only. And we invited 5 companies who were looking for people in data science, data analytics, and they had some projects on artificial intelligence as well. So we framed questions. So these interviewers who were representing the employers, they framed the challenges. That is the questions. Question challenge, right? Are you getting me?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if suppose I have invited 5 companies, so these 5 companies will come up with 5 challenges, which will take 1 day to solve, roughly around 1 day to solve. Okay. Now I have floated this requirement generally as like, on social media, that whoever are interested, they can apply for data science requirements in these organizations. Okay, now if anybody is looking out for a job, okay, because it's floated, like it's floated in Naukri, it floated in different media. Anybody who wants to look out for a job in these companies, they will apply to that company, that the facilitator in between, right? So we have the candidate base. So we will invite the candidates. So that the candidates come, they will select the challenge. Each company will give a brief about their organization. They will do the little bit of marketing about what they do, their product, services, and all that. And then they will present their challenge to the candidates on the floor. Like this, 5 companies will finish their demo, their whatever they wanted to share. And 5 companies will share their challenges. Now students will pick up.
Okay.
They will choose. Okay. Now, after they have chosen, maybe out of 100 people who are participating, 5 people may have chosen for employer 1. 50 people may have chosen for employer 2. 40 people might have chosen for employer 3. So likewise, we are left with probably another 10 or 15, divided like that between 2 other employers, right? So like that, all will attempt those 5 challenges. I mean, all means those segregated groups will attempt.
This will actually it will help like a mass recruitment, like, or like campus.
Absolutely. So what happens is I'll filter it down. So
Yeah,
now 50 people have attempted for employer B, right? That particular challenge. If they're able to crack it well, that is, less number of algorithms, they are able to write only 5 lines. With that only they have cracked whatever they wanted as output, right? Others have probably written some 15 steps, yet they have achieved that outcome. So now the company will want to look for somebody who have achieved that outcome within 5 steps or 3 steps or 4 steps, right? So they have already filtered. So 50 to they have brought down to say probably 15. Are you getting me?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, so 15
Very
now.
much.
Now 15 people, this company who is the facilitator in between, they will then start sending one by one to the interview room, because interviewers from that company, employer B, is waiting to interview, right? So 15 people will be now in the process of interview. So out of that 15, they will probably hire 10. So now, see, in the 1 day, they are able to get the best shot with 10 hires. Now the engagement process will happen, right? Now 10 has been given the offers on the same day. So it's a quick process. The 10 people have been offered the same day. Now the engagement between that offer to joining ratio has to improve, right?
Correct.
10 has to join, 10 have to join. So now it's a talent acquisition who will play a major role. Hiring manager also plays a major role in the continuous engagement. Now we will talk about how different ways we can keep the candidates, 10 candidates warm, right? For them to join the organization. Okay, so that's how the hackathon happens. Okay, it saves time. You get, you give them a lot of flavors. You give all the candidates a lot of flavors. 5 companies are there. Everybody is hiring from data on data science, but you are choosing this company, my company. So a lot of those permutation combinations keep happening.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Right? So it works very effectively, hackathon. Okay, so then meetups are there. Meetups are generally knowledge sharing, experience sharing meetings. Okay, but a lot of times it happens that you are getting experienced industry experts to come and talk on say blockchain. Suppose you have a group on Meetup, which is talking about data science. Okay, but then you want to somehow have any project which wants to get integrated with blockchain. Now you don't have any expert in your organization who is an expert in blockchain. So what you will do? You will then, as a group, you have already registered as a data science group, right? Now you will be inviting experts in blockchain to come and give lecture or share some use cases, okay, in that Meetup forum. So you will organize on a Saturday for 1 hour or 2 hours, and you will invite your people. It can be inside the organization people, it can be outside the organization people. So again, if outside the organization people are coming, what happens? There's a lot of sharing, there's a lot of experience sharing which happens across the industry, across the floor, right? And you get an expert who talks on blockchain. So your people are also getting to know about it. You have other people also to experience your company, because they have come to your company, they are seeing, you know, how your company works. If in case in future, you know, they want to apply for your company, you're already getting a pipeline ready, right? So these are the different strategic approaches that you can follow. Meetups also really work well. We used to do a lot of such meetups, and it benefited a lot for the reason that people get to know about the company that they are just walking up for just 1 or 2 hours. They also, you know, get a flavor of the kinds of projects which are happening. It's an exchange of information and ideas. So it's a good learning and knowledge sharing platform, right? So meetups are good. And of course, look for passive candidates, right? So these are certain ways. So we will discuss about how you can look for or attract passive candidates, right? And lucrative compensation packages. Okay, so these are some examples how companies see. Vidya Shankar, you had a question, right? If you see these statistics, the use of networking websites like LinkedIn and Facebook has grown rapidly for recruiting. In 2009, for example, UPS hired 19 people using such sites. In 2014, you see the conversion, 19 to 25,000, only through LinkedIn and Facebook. Okay. So it's like people have to be on them. People have to be on LinkedIn, dedicated. People have to be dedicated for Facebook hiring, or or Instagram. So some social media experts need to be on that to hire the right people. Okay, so these are some examples of how recruitment used to be before, and this is now. If you see here, newly recruited employees who quit said they did not understand what the job involved. So these are some challenges. These are practical challenges. I mean, we have seen, heard, and felt. Okay, so in past, these are certain inputs. So how things have changed now. Target individuals who previously worked for the organization or who worked in a similar job to provide the realistic job preview. An employee referral program is lacking in terms of number and quality of applicants generated. It used to be like this before. Offer a referral bonus that is contingent on retention for 1 year and on satisfactory new hire performance. So these are some examples of what it used to be then and how things have changed in the recruitment function. These are the candidate experience captured. They called me regularly to see if I had questions. That showed they were really interested in me. See the other one. I had a terrible experience with one job interviewer. He was rude, childish, and not that professional. I was offered the job, but declined the offer. See this. My mom was ill, and I had to cancel a site visit. They sent a huge bouquet of flowers. They made me feel important. These are the different kinds of emotions and experiences of candidates. I have just taken some quotes from what I remembered.
Thanks for sharing. This is very important. I feel many of them they don't
because
do it.
we used to think how we can continuously re-engineer the recruitment process, because even though we were a great place to work, Okay, so we got this award of Great Place to Work. But still, we were thinking there must be certain loopholes. Let's find out how better and best we can still do. So what we never had a candidate experience feedback form. I don't know still if any organizations are having it or not. Okay, candidate experience feedback form. Okay, so I don't know still many organizations are having this, but we introduced it.
No, no. What is that you said, ma'am? Come again.
Candidate experience feedback form.
Feedback form. Okay.
Yeah. So people
interview, is it? Okay.
No. People who are applying and then they did not move forward. We have called one time, but they did not respond back.
Understood.
Or they have gone through one level of interview. They are keen.
Okay.
So we have taken the feedbacks from them also.
Okay.
People who have left in between, people who are interested to move forward. So different kinds of feedbacks we have taken. Okay, so we had rolled this candidate experience feedback form at that level where one call was made and nobody responded. From that to even offered to joining ratio dropouts. So that discreetly, we had rolled out this candidate experience feedback form to understand what were the gaps.
Understood, ma'am. Understood. Now understood.
Yeah. So that was really useful because, yeah, we can, of course, decide which ones to consider because we have to see both the sides of the story. Okay, it has happened that, candidate got a call, they did not respond back. We tried 2-3 times. Okay, so it might be a reluctance from the candidate side altogether. And there was nothing to do with the recruiters, how they approached, how they spoke, the process, nothing to do. It was just that, the candidate probably just did a trial and error kind of thing. Okay, just wanted to see how it goes. Okay, so we have seen that as well. And so any feedback coming in from that angle, we did not give much precedence. But people who had been in the journey for little time, but they have moved back. That was a little concern for us. And that's why we had given more precedence to that, the inputs received from them. Okay, and likewise, the offer dropouts, not joining people, and so on and so forth, right? So that helps actually to improvise on the recruitment process. Okay, now how do you identify the target audience? Okay, target audience, how do we identify? I've given some inputs here. Recruit former employees who previously performed well. This is important, who previously performed well. Target the former interns, seek individuals who have worked for similar employers. You recruit individuals who have family members or friends working for the organization. Target the customers. Now there are certain times there is a MOU signed between the employer and the supplier or the vendor or the customer. In that case, we should not. But however, when there is nothing like that, okay, we can find out if this is feasible, right? So these are certain ways to identify the target audience. This is an important piece. How to attract passive candidates. Very important piece because these are sometimes the best hires. Okay. So now you use employee referrals. You can use radio, television advertisements. These are certain examples what I have mentioned. Approaches how you can target or attract passive candidates. Okay, you can quickly go over it. Any questions you can ask me on this piece, on this particular slide. Okay, so I think you have gone over it. If there are no questions, I will move forward. This is something very, very critical and important, good to know, good to understand and apply. This is a selection matrix. Okay. Now, this may be applicable for a hiring a new individual from external source, maybe internally as well, if you want to do a succession planning or want to promote people based on performance and potential. All these things, this particular 9-box grid can help you in decision making. So how do you go about? So you have the technical competency and you have the behavioral competency. Okay, so both are important, critical for any job role in the employee's life cycle. Okay, so given that both are low functional competency, low technical competency, the behavioral competency. So it's a reject situation. Okay, now if both are good, high, okay, so functionally fit as well as competency fit, then it's a definite hire, of course, they will move forward. Okay, now in a situation where it's medium in terms of behavioral competency, but functionally does not know anything, cannot relate, okay, do not have any knowledge, okay, you might want to reject. High on behavioral competency, but still low on functional competency. Now, this person is highly adaptable. This person is having the right attitude. The person is having the aptitude, general analysis skills, logical thinking, analytical thinking, all of that you have assessed. Okay, so your particular role, if it requires logical thinking approach, some decision making, adaptability, right? A positive, of course, all roles will require positive attitude, some level of aptitude and understanding and knowledge. Still, even you might want to probe further to decide whether you want to go ahead or you want to reject. Okay, before you actually finally decide to just, completely no, say no like this, okay, at these levels. Now, next is functionally, they are not so fit, that is low. Okay, behavioral competency is low. Behavioral competency is low, but functionally moderate. Okay, what happens is if there is a behavioral issue, it will be a long-term issue for the organization, for the team, for the manager. So you might not want to proceed, right? So it is a reject. Even if you see a low on behavioral competency, move with a rejection. Okay, even though technically very sound, but behavioral competency or certain parameters, traits, qualities, it's very low, you might not want to proceed. It's like a game, right? A person who is having a positive mindset and the skills, you can blindly recruit. And the attitude, you can blindly recruit. Okay, a person is having no mindset at all, but skills, you will take a risk. You will take a big risk. Okay, so you might have to decide what you want to do. Okay, now at this level, which is moderate, both technical as well as behavioral, you can still take a chance. You can probe further through the process of interview, simulation, some gamification, some case study, some assessment, and then decide, select or reject. Okay, now in this situation, which is medium in terms of behavioral competency, but very high, or maybe medium in functional competency. At this level, it is high. Okay, you can assign a coach. So behavioral competency is medium. So you can assign a coach. Okay, so bring him or her to this particular level so that he moves from the medium to the high level because he's already functionally at a high level. Okay, so the movement or shift has to happen from here to here. So you might want to hire a coach or a counselor or a mentor to move him from this level to this level. So this is how the selection matrix typically is followed. It's called a 9-box grid. This is with respect to the performance and potential. Okay, so with this, I will conclude performance and potential matrix, a 9-box grid. Again, low, performance is low, potential is low. Okay, for some reason the performance has dipped. For some reason he is not utilizing his full potential. Maybe motivation issue, maybe personal problem, maybe team related problem, maybe emotional drain outs, something might have gone wrong, So if you remember, there is I have discussed in one of the classes, performance is equal to potential minus interference. Interference is something which might be hampering the performance. It might be also hampering the person's potential. He is not using his full potential because of certain disturbances, because of certain challenges, because of certain obstacles that he's facing in his personal life or professional life. Okay, so that we need to find out. So low on this, low on this, underperformance. Medium performance and low potential. Okay, so somehow they are able to make it. It's like somehow they're able to make it. Okay, again, high performance. So some jugaad is happening probably. Still they are able to make it. Potential, they are not utilizing to the fullest. Low potential, but still somehow they are able to make it. Okay, but is it sustainable? That's what we have to see. Here and here, is it sustainable? Because if we have to be here, high on potential is must. High on potential performance is also must to be here, right? So now if you move this, if you move up this side, if you see low performance with high potential, we have to find out what are the obstacles, what are the reasons. Okay, why people are not performing to its optimum, even though they have the fullest potential. They might be specialists, okay, but they are still not performing well, right? So now this is the level wherein you have highest potential utilization and okay, performance is improving, okay? And then you are moving from key performers to star performers where you are utilizing your best resources. At the same time, you are performing to your utmost level, to your peak, to your optimum level. Okay, so this is the performance potential promotion matrix. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Are there any questions? Okay. This is another case study, but I think we are already, we have crossed 4:30. Okay, so I think I'll just quickly wrap up now. This we have discussed. These are the different metrics. This is very important. You know, I was talking about that carton. I was talking about the governance. I was talking about the talent infrastructure. I was talking about the business alignment, also the metrics and analytics, right? In that talent management framework, right? So metrics, we have to apply everywhere. What are the different levels of metrics that we can have? Quality of hire, sourcing channel effectiveness, assessment effectiveness, the ratio at every level, application to profile shortlist to first round to second round, third round, final round, and then offer to joining ratio. The time to hire, hiring manager satisfaction with the recruitment process, recruitment cost metrics, new joiner productivity, yield ratio for each recruitment method. So all of this is part of the talent acquisition metrics. Okay. And of course, new joiner retention rate. After you have onboarded, have they left your organization within 1 week? Have they stayed beyond probation period, right? So all of that, new joiner retention rate. And of course, I was mentioning the candidate experience, applicant's experience of the entire recruitment process. Now your applicant can be also even the people who have joined and the people who have not joined and the people who have left, who has not shown their interest, right? Much before, all of them. These are certain analytics reports that you can have, right? Employee cost over the sales revenue. This is the performance index. Satisfaction survey report, employee engagement report. If you see here, employee turnover rate, then you can further drill down to department level. Absenteeism rate, you can further drill down to department level. Management to staff ratio. So different analytics or metrics. If you are planning to have a diversity and inclusion, this also will work. Okay, so this also is diversity inclusion because you are looking for part-time, full-time ratio workers, gender ratio, all of that, right? So you can generate different levels of matrix. It's very detailed. Okay, so this is the employee value proposition which we were discussing, how you can increase employee value proposition. It is through all this medium. Okay, so here it is mentioned how to increase the employee value proposition, EVP, right? You can have cultural transformation within the organization. Generally, employee will be happy. You might want to have, the differentiated pay package, pay for performance introduced, work-life balance introduced, right? You might want to have great training and development team, okay, who is driving the training and development agenda in the organization, right? Lot of learnings happening. Exciting challenges. So you are having internal hackathon. You are having internal codathons, right? So it's a culture that you are transforming, which is giving that employee satisfaction, customer satisfaction, which is indirectly or directly generating the EVP, right? Employee value proposition. And it can be applied at each of these levels. Social media. Employee will talk through the process of testimonials. You can have small video captions. You can have small write-ups from the employee. If you go to the LinkedIn, you will see, recently I was just saying, one organization, they have onboarded lot of freshers, okay, and during this lockdown, it is a completely online onboarding which happened. And there are a lot of these new freshers, joiners who have shared on LinkedIn about their journey and experience during the last 15 days or 20 days that they had been onboarded online. Okay, so, and also the name of the company is also coming up in that description of theirs, right? And all the team members' names who were part of this onboarding process or talent acquisition process or the training process. So it's a brand building, employer branding, employee branding. All of it is getting is taken care of through this employee value proposition because of the experience that you have created. So it can be through social media. It can be through marketing campaigns. You can have pamphlets. In the pamphlets, you can have all the testimonials shown. You can have events, which I said, hackathon events like that, right? Even the job posting, career sites can talk about employees' testimonials, templates, offer letter. So it used to happen like this, that, when we have rolled out an offer to a candidate, a managerial level or senior managerial level, we used to have some old timers and role models of the company. We used to invite 1 or 2 people within the organization to just come and sit with me. This we used to introduce, come and sit with me, because I was representing the HR. So I used to have one role model from the product team come and sit with me after the offer has been given out. He has accepted the offer. The last minute couple of discussions that we will have, I will invite him and he will just share his experience and journey in that organization, the current organization. So this will give the new joinee who is deciding to come on board a different perspective altogether, because when HR is thoroughly meeting this new joinee, HR will give his or her perspective or companies, on behalf of the company, she or he will be talking. But when a role model from within the organization is sitting with the HR and telling the real success stories about his or her journey of 5 years, 10 years in the same organization, and how the organization has grown over the years, that gives a different perspective to the manager or the senior manager or the director who is going to decide to leave his current organization and join your organization. So you can bring in all these employee value proposition aspects at each of these levels in different creative ways. Okay. And even at the higher
level.
level.
Bonding actually.
Lot of engagement. We used to invite people whenever we used to have town halls. People, the new joinees who will be joining, okay, who have been given offer letter. Now it is that time period, right? 1 month, 15 days, 45 days, right?
Yeah.
So during that time is very crucial. Okay, so we used to invite them for our product launches, for our town halls, for any kind of employee engagement activities that we used to have outbound, internal. So we used to just give family days that we are having. So we used to invite them, let them also get their families. They will want to see also the companies that they are going to work in future, right? How the pulse is, how the employees are, right? So all of that matter a lot, apart from the product or the process. Okay. So all these ways of engagement, we have to be continuously innovative. Do a lot of research on the internet, some of the best practices of how to keep the engagement level high from the very beginning. As I was mentioning about the employer branding, before the candidate has even seen what is the job posting or opening in your organization, they already know about your the image of your company. They know what you do. They know what the product lines are. They know how the company is doing in the share market. So they know length and breadth about the company already much before. Through these meetups, through these hackathons, you might not select. See, in the example which I gave, you might not at all select anybody. Out of the 50, 20, 10 who have shown interest in taking up your challenge, finally through the process of interview, you might not find a behavioral fit, or maybe something more you are expecting apart from the whatever they have cracked in the process of challenge attempt, right? You might not select anybody, but then you have already sold your company, product, services, people to already all those 100 people who attempted that hackathon that day. Right? So we have to be innovative much in advance and also discreetly as the process is proceeding. Okay, till the time that you have the people on board, and even after, because we were talking about the retention rate, the new joiner retention rate, right? So it's a complete journey of the employee in the once they have been onboarded, right? So that's the employee value proposition aspect. Okay, so I think I have covered all of this. Any questions? I'll take it up. Otherwise, we will run the poll. Shall I move forward with running the poll?
Yes, madam.
Okay, all right. So please participate in the poll. I'm just launching the poll.